Trail running shoes versus road running shoes. Can you spot the difference? I'm Peter Roberts. Welcome to Running the Corner. If you're new to running, then you probably need some motivation to get going. And this channel is perfect just for you. So without further ado, let's get into today's topic: trail running shoes versus road running shoes. Can you spot the difference? Well, it's 5 a.m. in the morning. The load shedding guy just switched off the lights again. I'm in the dark. So how do I tell the difference between whether it's my road running shoes or my trail running shoes that I'm finding? Simple. My secret. Don't tell anyone, okay? The smell test. Road running shoe. Trail runner. These are my shoes. I use them. I have run in them. I've done plenty of work in them. And we're going to start with my road running shoe. My Hoka One Men's Ahari 5 road running shoe. This is a relatively new brand. It's only been around since 2009. Now owned by Denver Brands out in California since 2014. Now Hoka One, for the longest time I thought it was Hoka 11, but it's actually a Maori word. And the Maori word is Hoka One, and it means flying over earth. And literally this shoe is so light, you fly over earth. It's fantastic. It's got an extra thick, responsive, cushioning sole, which is great for running, great for support on there. It's got ample structural support and a stability system second to none. For someone like me who's got an overpronation, you need that extra support. So what is the overpronation? Overpronation is just the way your foot rolls, and I tend to roll my foot inwards. That's the mechanics of how my body works. My ankles tend to be inwards, and this helps me from not over-rolling. That is the support of a stability shoe. So it's a great stability shoe. Breathability, again, why does this shoe smell a little bit better than my trail running shoe? Is because of breathability. So if you're looking at it, you'll see the uppers of this shoe, it's got breathable holes in it, whereas your trail running shoe, it's not breathable at all. It's quite tightly knit. I'll explain a little bit later about my trail running shoe, but let's continue with my road running shoe. It is a durable shoe, which is great. I've got almost 1,000 kilometers in here and it's still looking good. With the way I run in terms of where my foot strikes, I've got a 5mm heel to toe drop in the shoe, which is good for me, particularly when you're on your longer runs, on your half marathons, on your marathons, on 50k runs and your ultra runs and your ultra marathons. You tend to get a little bit tired, and when you do get tired, your form starts going. So rather than striking on the front of the foot, you start landing more in the center or more flat-footed. Now, why is that so important? And it's so important because if you've got a toddler, if you've got toddlers at home, watch them. They tippy-toe on the front of their toes and they are fast, and you see how fast they are. Watch all the fastest runners. They tend to use and land on the front of their feet because they're pushing off harder. They tend to land more in the front. Now, I have a 5mm toe drop. So what is the toe drop in here? So the heel to toe drop is the height of the heel and the height of where your toes are. The difference is between this and there, 5mm. So this 5mm really helps you because as you get tired, you start striking more in the center and then pushing off. And that means you're displacing and using more energy. And also at the same time, you are actually putting more mechanical strain on your body because of gravity that is happening at that moment, the shock that is traveling through your body. Some people have a heel strike. In other words, they land on the heel when they're running. And a heel strike puts the most shock through your body, through your ankles, through your knees, through your hips, and it can cause injury. But what they have actually done with the shoe, which is fantastic, because you can have this extra, this is just amazing with heel to toe dropping in a shoe, because what it's helped with is to compensate for that mechanical issue that people have with their running and help them to avoid injury. My size that I wear is a 8, a UK 8 or a US 8.5. That's just over 25 centimeters, just over 10 inches. And why it's significant is because your running shoe, particularly a road running shoe when you're running, and this is a long distance running shoe, so that's the other thing that you need to look at. Is the shoe made for shorter distances? Is it made for longer distances? And this is a longer distance running shoe. It's got more cushioning, it's got more support, and you can keep going for well over a marathon. But you will find your casual shoe, your work shoe, your shoe you're going to church with will generally be smaller. My casual shoes and my smart shoes, size 7, which is a little bit smaller than this. In fact, a whole size smaller. Price-wise, it's, many will consider it as a little bit pricey. I mean, it's 2,800 Rand. That's about $190 US, which is quite pricey. That's at Sportsman's Warehouse. But why again? Because it's got this extra stability and cushioning. It's got all this new technology that has gone into it. This really robust uppers, this good lacing system, fantastic support in terms of your cushioning inside. So it's really overall a great shoe. The Hoka One Men's Ahari 5 road running shoe, absolutely. If your body can or requires that extra support, you need the stability, this may be a fantastic shoe for you to go for. And that's the road running shoe. You can see it again. So what's the difference? Just look underneath. It's smoother because the road's going nowhere. That's why it's smoother underneath. This one you can see. Just look at the rubber. It's harder. It's if I was to explain it, it's got a little bit more grip. It's like Spider-Man stuff. It's I can't say sticky. It's just got this thing, because remember, you're displacing lots of loose soil behind you. You're running through the mountains. You're running through water, through puddles, through mud. You're doing so much more with this shoe because you're out there in the elements and you're exposed. Because when you're running on the mountain, we're in the Cape here. When we're running here, we have the Cape Cobra, we have mambas, we have scorpions, we have porcupines. So all these things, we've got cacti, and everything is trying to, you either sting you, bite you, or prick you. And when you're looking at this, it's just going to give you a little bit more support in terms of all this around the uppers. But that's also what makes the shoe very different in weight, because this shoe is so light. It looks so much heavier because it's got so much more body, so much of a thicker sole on your road running shoe on the Hoka compared to the ASICS. But if you're looking at it, it's got all this extra support to protect you in terms of element. It's got a strong sole that really can support it. It's got a heel to toe drop of 4 mils, which also helps you get over those rocks, gives you a little bit of space, and also just to take some of that cushioning when you're hitting the ground with your heels now and then. Great shoe overall. I love it. I mean, ASICS done a fantastic job with the shoe. And ASICS, as I said, it's an old company. ASICS, it's been around since 1949. It's from Kobe, Japan. It's over 72 years old, almost 73 years old. By the way, ASICS itself is not a Japanese word. It is actually an acronym for a Latin phrase, Anima Sana in Corpora Sano, which means sound mind, sound body. And that's what you need when you're doing an ultra marathon, particularly because you would have put in your work, you would have done your kilometers. When you're preparing, for example, with the Comrades Marathon, you need to put in at least 900 to 1,000 kilometers before you even attempt to run Comrades. That's running this shoe to the ground. And then that shoe you will go and kill it when you run in Comrades, and then you throw it away or using it for painting. I don't even think that anybody wants you to donate this running shoe after you've completed the Comrades and all your training with it, because it would just be dead. There will be no cushioning left in there, nothing for it. Very importantly to know, ASICS really giving you that, because when you put in the energy, what really gets you through to the end is your mindset. Because after 45 kilometers, you're only halfway. If you're doing 100 kilometers, 50 kilometers, you're only halfway. Your body generally can handle 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers. But once you go over that distance, it's all about your mental strength. Because all you're asking yourself while you're running with that is, at the beginning of Comrades Marathon, we're all excited, we're all chit-chatting, we're having a good time, first 20, 30 Ks, and then everyone starts going quiet. And no one's speaking to anyone. And literally, you don't have energy for anything. All you're asking yourself is, why have I even thought of doing this? But what is fantastic is the elation that you get at the end when you get that medal that you know you deserve. 2017, 2018, back-to-back medals for me. That was my proudest moment for Comrades. So, I would not do anything to change that. It's just an unbelievable feeling. Getting back to the shoe, it's very interesting history with ASICS, because ASICS wasn't always called ASICS. They've only been called ASICS since 1977 when they formed a conglomerate of companies together. But it was a family company. The Onitsuka Tiger Corsair was in fact the first shoe that they brought up. The Onitsuka family built the shoe from the ground up along with the designer, legendary track coach Bill Bauman, and they released it in 1969 at the Mexico Games. Instantly, the shoe was a hit. Not the shoe, the Tiger Corsair. And the Tiger Corsair, of course, if you look at it, Kill Bill, Uma Thurman, that yellow tracksuit she's wearing, check the shoes out. Then look back, 1966, Bruce Lee, that same yellow tracksuit. Okay, not exactly Uma Thurman's tracksuit, but the same style of tracksuit, the same coloring with a strip on there, and he's wearing the Tiger Corsair, the ASICS, the Onitsuka. And the Onitsuka, of course, was also then absorbed into another company, which was run by Bill Bauman's prodigy, Phil Knight. And they took the exact same shoe, rebranded it as the Nike Cortez. And that was in 1971 when the swoosh became world renowned. Just wanted to share that with you. That was some deep stuff, but now we know two shoes, exactly the same shoes from the sole up, which was the Tiger Corsair and the Nike Cortez. Coolest feature though about this is this. I love this feature, which is the BOA dial-in system. This system, it's not ASICS system. In fact, this system was invented by Gary Hammerslag, or Hammerslag if you're Dutch, and Hammerslag means to hammer and slaughter. And definitely in the market with this system, with the dial-in system, he slaughtered it, man. He slaughtered it. A surfer from California, Gary gave up his surfboard in the 90s to move to Steamboat in Denver, Colorado, of all places, up in the Rockies, to give up his surfboard for a snowboard. He owned a medical equipment company, and he sold it, and he decided to retire early. I'm not sure what kind of medical stuff he was selling, but nevertheless, though, I'm sure it was legal. It was legal, Gary. It was. If he must have been me, because I swear to you, he hated lacing up his snowboard boots. The same way, I have still not learned how to lace up my running shoes properly. Back in 2001, he partnered with two snowboard boot manufacturers, K2 and Vans, and I was a skateboarder, so Vans, we had a 7-foot skateboard ramp in our yard, and my mom was like, let them kill themselves in the yard here rather than getting killed out in the road. I swear to you, that was the funnest time with that. In fact, I still got a piece of tooth in my lip here from skating that ramp and from half murdering myself on that ramp. Today, BOA, they brand partnered with over 300 brand partners in virtually every sporting code, from snowboarding to running to cycling to golf to skiing to hiking, fishing, on-court, workwear, and even back into the medical field of things with bracing. Because us extreme sport guys, we're forever getting hurt. You're hurting your wrists, your knees, your ankles. What better than to have a brace system that uses this and you can just tighten it up at exactly the way you need it. So again, great shoes. Both these shoes, fantastic. I find them awesome. They fit for purpose for your trail running, and I swear to you, I'm not a fan of trail running, but it's a very important means of getting more subtleness in your running, getting a lot more fitter, because it's way more difficult. That I find a 30k trail run is like running an ultra marathon for me. It's just so tough, so tough. Heavier shoes, difficult terrain, and you're always so much dirty and sweatier after a trail run. But nevertheless though, I still love it, because remember that these things, I mean, it's just amazing what has been produced here, because everything, remember, in the world that you see today started at some point with some crazy person, one or two crazy people sometimes, they just decided that they are going to do the impossible thing and bring their dreams to fruition. And today, I mean, you and I, we can just walk into a store, hand over a couple of bucks, and get all their blood, sweat, trials, tribulations, and tears, all their investment, everything that they put into producing these amazing shoes in a matter of minutes. Hope you found this content useful and inspiring, and that it will really motivate you to do that first 200 meters and run to your front door and really do it in your slippers. This is going to be your week to get out there, do your first couple of running, do your first couple of steps, because every run starts with one step. So you take that one step, take that dive, get in there. I hope you enjoyed this. If you love the show, please click the like button. Please click the subscribe button. I'm Pedro Gaduka Roberts, and we're running the corner. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a running coach, personal trainer, or a nutritionist. I'm not an elite athlete. If you're an elite athlete, what are you doing here?